Hello guys and welcome back to All Things Trentside. How you doing guys? I hope you're all well. It's feels like a bit of a long time since I last spoke to you all. First of all, I want to send my apologies for people who did watch the match review for the game against Swansea. I did say I was going to upload it Friday but didn't end up uploading it till Saturday lunchtime, so apologies for that. It's just, sometimes these things happen. I'm not going to say I was managed to upload it on time. As I say, it was just a busy Friday and then just couldn't get uploaded in time. But it did get uploaded in the end, so if you did watch it, thanks for the support and I hope you did enjoy it. And then eventually it was 3 days later, so you already know what happened in the game, but it was more really just to get my thoughts across on what was happening. But like I say, this is something I'm definitely going to have to get better at if I'm going to continue doing this and make sure I look into my process for this, because once again, we're at another match preview for the game, and of course we've only literally just had a match review, so it's something that I really need to get on top of, because obviously if you are an avid listener to the channel, it's kind of like, okay, I've just listened to that one and I've got another one to listen to now, or I need to listen to that one. Oh yeah, but then the game's today, so this preview won't be going out until tomorrow, which is probably going to be like 2-3 hours before the game, so you don't really have a lot of time to soak it all in really. So it's something I'm going to look at, but there's no point, now. As I said, I've got a bit of OCD on that. I need to make sure everything's now preview, review, etc. until the end of the season at least. But yeah, without further ado, just before I do, I hope you're all well. Well, let's get into the video. So yes, we're coming into the penultimate game of the season as Forest travel to Oakwell looking to secure a playoff spot. So of course, Forest could have secured the playoff spot on Wednesday against Swansea but only drew. But after Saturday's results, it means that Forest now only need a point going to Oakwell to secure the place in the Championship playoffs after QPR beat Millwall, but only Swansea won. It could have all been wrapped up and we could have rested a few players, but unfortunately Swansea did get the win over Bristol City, so they are still winning with a shout. You think Forest probably would get the job done anyway, even if they were to lose 2 games. But I think it'd be a tough task for Swansea. I think our goal difference is 6 better than theirs now. So even if we lost 1-0 tomorrow and 1-0 on Wednesday, if only Swansea won 2-0, we'd still be in the playoffs on goal difference. But it's a route you don't want to go. You want to get the job done yourself and not rely on others. I think, ask any Leeds fan, I think it is bittersweet for them that they got promoted, but I think they'd have rather gone to Pride Park and won it. And won the league there, of course, but it's still sweet for them that they're going to get a guard of honour from Derby, especially after Spygate and the playoffs last year. But which, as a Forest fan, again, it's another bittersweet pill because we don't really get on with Leeds. But to see Derby having to give them a guard of honour is going to be a bit funny, especially after their seasons, gone the way it has. But yeah, we just want to get the job done really, instead of messing about ourselves, to show people that we don't need no favours, we've done it ourselves. Going into the last game of the season as well, I think anything less than a draw tomorrow we would take anyway. I don't think we would, considering Barnsley in the table, but we'll get onto that in a moment. But as I was saying, even a point will do tomorrow, but we don't want to lose that game because we're going to take a very tricky Stoke side, but we'll get on to that in a moment. But yeah, as I was saying, this is going to be my match preview for the game as far as head to Oakwell, place where we don't really do so well. We'll get onto that in a moment. But yeah, let's get into it. So, as the team news, as always, Forest do have a few injury doubts going into this. Joe Lolly, of course, come on against Swansea. I don't think he was 100% fit, but I think the way we needed some creativity going forward. Now, maybe he was providing it one side, but Lolly, adds that extra dimension. He can stretch defences as well, and he can always conjure up a bit of magic. I don't think he was 100% fit. I don't think he should have been involved. This is why we do need to secure the playoffs sooner or later, because then we can rest a few key players, especially with the playoffs around the corner. Because of course, after the Stoke game, if the playoffs are confirmed for Forest, depending on where we finish, our first playoff game will either be the Sunday or the Monday. So just give Joe Lloyd that bit of extra rest, especially as well with Matty Cash as well. We don't know whether or not he'll be involved again. Haven't read anything that they've said it's a doubt and he will be in the squad, but you never know. But definitely we do need to make sure we get it done so we can just rest these, even if we settle for a point and we don't play it, just as long as we make sure they're fit for the playoffs, because losing either one of them would be a big blow. And that's coming Another player who'll be a big blow missing is Sam Bassau. Apparently he's picked up a slight knock. But for me, I think Sam Bassau's a tactical one. I was reading earlier, he's on 9 yellow cards. I don't know when the cut-off point is for the playoffs, because obviously with what's going on now in the world of football. But if he picks up another yellow card, it's a 2-match ban. It has been normally, but so our Forest just makes, because after the season ends, the playoffs are a new thing. So fixtures get like wiped out, yellow cards, and I think only red cards stand. I don't think yellow, like obviously so was to get booked in the first leg, you wouldn't miss it. I don't know how it works. I think I'm right with that, but I might be wrong. So if that is the case, though, then I can see why Lamucci said he's been he's not going to be involved. I think it's more tactical for that one, but because he didn't really look like he had a problem against Swansea, he did come off. I think that was more because he got the yellow card. He didn't look like he had a problem. So you never know, though. So has been a bit injury prone since he's come in. He's been a fantastic player for us this season. Probably if it hadn't been for a few more standout performances, and more games, he would have been in the shout for player of the season. But yeah, that's Forest news going forward. It's three key players you don't want out, but especially at this time and only needing a point, we could do with resting them. It would have been so nice if Bristol City had nabbed a late equaliser against Swansea, and we wouldn't have had to worry about this. We could have said, Lamucci's going to set up tomorrow and play not a terrible squad, but a lesser strength squad. But I don't think Barnsley won that either, because we'll go on to that in a moment. But for Barnsley, they're going to set to be without Portuguese forward Elliot. I think that's Simos. I think that's how you say it. He injured his ligaments in the draw of Wigan last week, so I don't like he'll play for the rest of the season. Well, Barnsley only have 2 games for the rest of the season now, so he don't like how he'll be involved. Other than that, Gerald Stuber, the Barnsley boss, don't have any fresh injury concerns ahead of the game, so Barnsley have a fully fit squad ready to tackle Forest, and they need that, because we'll move on to their form guide at the moment. Barnsley are rock bottom of the league, and if they do lose tomorrow to Forest, they will be relegated to League One. They'll make an instant return after being promoted last season, so they'll be relegated once again. So Barnsley have always been that club, though, haven't they? When they've won League One or gone up through the playoffs, and then they've come back down the next season and then come back up. I think there needs to be instead of League One, change it to, I don't know what, League Zero. I don't know, but change it to something, because there's like Rotherham or another team, Wigan potentially. They've actually turned the form around, of course, of recent weeks. That's because they're playing because of what's happening at the club at the moment. But there's just a few teams that are they teeter on the edge of the Championship's relegation every year, but aren't good enough to compete in the Championship, but they're too good to compete in League One. But so it looks like Barnsley will be heading down. I think they've got Brentford in the next game anyway, so I think the writing's on the wall, especially with teams around them. When I think Luton getting a big win today, Charlton. I think I can't remember who Charlton played midweek. I had a look. But yeah, I think obviously Wigan's 12-point deduction as well. I think the writing's on the wall for Barnsley, 4 points adrift. They'd have to win 2 games against 2 of the teams who are going for the playoffs, and one team, and a team that's going for the automatic. So it's going to be a difficult one for Barnsley, but they've always had a good record against Forest, as we'll go on to in a minute. But Barnsley haven't won in 4 games. I think that's the problem with why they're in this position, because it looked like when Gerald Stuber come in from, I think he's coming from Rapid Vienna or a team like that in Austria, and he turned Barnsley around. That's what Barnsley always do. They always reminded me of like the Sunderland. When Sunderland in the Premiership used to be at the bottom 3 all year, and then towards the end of the season they picked up form and they'd stay up. I think Barnsley did it a few years back when they ended up beating Hull when David Flitcroft took over as caretaker boss. They beat Hull 2-0 like the penultimate game of the season. Then did they play Huddersfield, and they both stayed up at Peterborough's expense. When I think Huddersfield and Charlton both looking to stay up, so they just knocked the ball around and no one bothered attacking, because they both know if they got a point they'd be safe. But yeah, they haven't won in 4 games, and that's been a problem. And in them 4 games, they've failed to score. In 3 of the last 4 games, that's been a big problem. I think the Leeds game, they did create chances, but they just couldn't put the ball in the net. That's a big problem in this league. Of course, you need goals, or keep them out of the other end. Like us, we don't score many goals, but we don't concede many either. So it's been Barnsley's problem this season. It's probably the reason why they will be playing League One football next season, which is a shame. I wouldn't say it's a good away day, but it's an easy away day to get to. Straight on the train to Leeds and get off at Barnsley. It's just a little walk up over some housing estates. It's kind of crazy sometimes. You just walk up this hill, get into the house, and then there's the Barnsley ground. Probably if you're don't think you are going to go to the game, but there's a stand in Barnsley where there's a hill and you can stand there. I think you can see into the ground, but that's going off topic. But yeah, Barnsley aren't in there, obviously the best run of form, but they need wins. Sometimes the Championship throws up surprises, especially we've seen in the past years. And I mentioned obviously that whole game a few years ago when Barnsley won, upset the apple cart a bit. So I think some people are going to be Barnsley fans tomorrow of rival clubs, and some people are going to be Forest fans. So it'll be an interesting game. As for us though, we're not in the best run of form either. We're looking back to winning ways after failing to win the last 4 games. So obviously we played Derby at that point, then lost to Fulham, then drew with Preston, drew with Swansea. So we're looking to avoid going 5 games without a win for the first time since November, December. As I mentioned in the last game against Swansea, we've not done that since that period, and we haven't won away since February against Cardiff. So really do need some points on the road here. This especially because if we do get a win, it sets us up nicely going to the playoff contender who we're going to play. So either will be Fulham or Brentford or West Brom, one of them 3. I know it don't make a difference going to an away ground now, because you haven't got the fans on your back and the atmosphere of the home fans make, but it's still not a record you want to have. You want to go there knowing that you can win away from home, because Forest used to be really good on the road. But no, this just dried up recently. I say February is a long time after lockdown as well. So we're just looking to get there. We had a few close shaves. I think a few stoppage time equalisers denied us that, so we can go to grounds and settle for the win. Take 3 points. Especially against Barnsley though, bottom of the league, you'd expect Forest to go there with a bit of fight, especially knowing that playoffs places on the line. But Barnsley, of course, are fighting for their lives as well. So it's got the billing to be a fantastic game going forward. But we don't want to go into the playoffs on bad run of form as well. Like I say, though, this could be our worst run of form since November, December time, and it's like you don't really want to go into the playoffs on the back of this sort of form, especially whatever way you look at it, it's going to be not the best. If we win our next 2 games, it's like, okay, Forest have won 2 games in 6 or 2 games in 7, whatever it'll be. It doesn't look the best, but it's better than Forest have only won once in 6 or 7 or none in 7, etc. So just have to wait and see how we go. I don't know how Lamouche is going to settle for this game, of course, with us only needing a point and key players being missing. Is he just going to play the main team? Samba looked like he was carrying a bit of a knock. He looked like he pulled a muscle against Swansea. I don't know how that's been monitored. We've seen this season we've gone 5 at the back sometimes. We're going to set up cautiously, and bring Dawson into the back 3. Are we just going to play our unusual 4-2-3? Well, it's been probably a more 4-3-3, but normally it's a 4-2-3-1 with the 2 holding midfielders. It'll be interesting to see. I'll probably say that about every team news that we get. It'll be interesting to see how we do. But it is because it's the Championship, and we don't know how we're going to set up against teams like this, because Barnsley did cause a few problems for Leeds, and on another day they might put them chances away. And I think we're more, more capable of giving them chances for them to put it away. If that makes sense, I can't think of the right saying, but if the ball drops. Leeds, of course, champions for a reason. They defend well, so do we. But sometimes the lapse in concentration does cause us problems, and that's why teams do grab goals against us sometimes. Especially teams at the bottom, we normally struggle against them as well. This season against Barnsley, which I'll get onto in a moment, we didn't really play our best at that in that game. Going to like the teams like you look at the teams down at the bottom. We went to Charlton, we got played off the park. To be fair, Charlton were having their first few games this season. They did start the season very well. Went to Huddersfield and lost there. Played Barnsley at Oakwell a few times as well. A mixed bag of results there as well. I don't know. We'll get into that in a minute. But as I was mentioning, Ben Watson's goal is the only difference when we met in September. Albeit that was with Daniel Stendhal in charge for Barnsley. So they've got a new manager now who sets up in a different way. But Ben Watson, his first of the season on 56 minutes. It was the goal that really was. A few weeks later, it was iconic, or is it deja vu, or whatever, iconic deja vu, but a bit of both, when he scored against Brentford, similar goal in the same minute, which was pretty weird. But yeah, he gave it. Forest won at the races that day. I went to the game, didn't really play that great, but we got the goal and got the win, and kept that unbeaten run that we had going since the opening day defeat. I think it was a few weeks later. Then we lost at Wigan, but we don't really normally play well at Barnsley. You know, last time we went there, we lost 2-1 when Warburton was in charge, when Daryl Murphy scored, and then we lost 2-1 in the end. I think Ryan Hedges scored. We started with Jordan Smith in goal as well, so says it all really. Forest have come a long way since that. Our last win at Oakwell, there was a 5-2 win in 2016. You might have seen Forest share it on the social media pages. So obviously, I think it was 2-2, 3-2 at half time. You know, Henry Lansbury then got a hat trick in the second half. Ben Osborne scored a header, which was a rarity at the time. It was a great header as well, looking back at it. And me and my cousin, who I go with the games, we always reference this goal if we ever see a goal in slow motion. And Velios, because it felt like a age to go in when he scored it. It hit him and it just looped in. I don't know how he scored, like looking back at it, but ridiculous goal. And also it was the game where I got to see the Lord play. Lord Bentner was there, but that was Forest last one. Oakwell. We have a mixed bag when we go there, so we either blow Barnsley away. I think our last two victories there have been 5-2 and 4-1, or we go there and lose. So like I mentioned, the 2-1 and then the 1-0 under Billy Davis, where we played Kevin Gomez, who never was seen in a shirt again. Dale Jennings scored. That was the worst games I've been to. I think before I see all these reviews and previews started coming up before lockdown was lifted, I did obviously mention that I was going to do my worst games, probably something I'll look into doing after pre-season starts again, but that game will be up there. But yeah, it's a mixed bag at Oakwell. We never know what we're going to get, especially now. I say Barnsley, no disrespect to Barnsley, I don't think they have the biggest fan base and don't really make itself heard, so they can get on your back. That being said, though, decisions aren't going their way. But now Forest have a chance to go there and bottom of the league, haven't won in 4 games. They lose, they're relegated. It's all set up for Forest to lose 1-0, isn't it? But no, going forward, I hope we do manage to get the win. Of course, it's a difficult place to go, especially in the situation Barnsley are in. I think if they were probably mid-table or towards the bottom, but wasn't going to get relegated, it'd be a lot easier. But Barnsley know now that they can play without fear, kind of thing. If they play and give it a good go and they lose, they can say, look, we've tried our best. And then if they lose anyway, they've lost. As long as they play the best, and I think they will, like I say, they've got nothing to lose. It's one of them. You either get turned over trying, or you get the 3 points. It's like we live to fight another day. But we'll just have to see how Forest react going forward. It's a very, very difficult place to go, especially the run of form Forest are in. And so we just need to make sure we go there and be resolute, play our game, and make sure that Barnsley don't stay up. Basically, it sounds harsh to say. You don't want to relegate any team. I can't remember the last time Forest were in this position actually when we could relegate a team. We're normally up there, and we're normally down there and people can relegate us, but we've never. I can't remember the last time Forest had the chance to beat someone and relegate them. So it's a little bit of, I'm saying don't know the right word to say, but what Forest is now, maybe bragging rights. The whole thing with Barnsley and Nottingham and the Yorkshire, and the minor strikes. Oh God, we're getting proper political on this channel. People say this channel doesn't have class. We're getting political views on here now, but obviously you've seen the videos at this season when the Barnsley vlogger called us all scabs, or you heard it chanting in the background. So just a bit of bragging rights. Say, yeah, we relegated you and secured our playoff spot in the process. It would be nice to do going forward, but a draw for me would be equally as good. Playing for playoffs and playoff positions now. We need to make sure we get the win and get us over the line. As always, we've got the key players to watch for this game. For my pick this, I've gone on for Connor Chaplin. He joined Barnsley this season from Portsmouth, or was it Coventry? I can't remember. But he joined this season at Barnsley. He got his first career hat-trick against QPR. I think it was in December. They won 5-3. It's 13 goals and 6 assists this season for a team that's near the bottom. It's pretty good. It's very surprising to say that the Barnsley are down there, because I couldn't pick between him and Corley Woodrow for the people who are going to cause Forest problems. I think Corley Woodrow's got 15, so two strikers that have got 28 between them this season, and they're still like rock bottom of the league. Like Forest have got that. Grabham's got 20, and I think Lewis. I think Joe Lolly's got 9, 10. So they're on the same level, but we're near the top. I just think it's Barnsley's, conceding goals that's been their problem. And the last few games they haven't scored. I think Corley Woodrow, he is one to watch, and I think he'll be on the move if Barnsley do go down. Same with Connor Chaplin, but Woodrow hasn't scored since February, so he was Barnsley's main man. I think he was linked with a lot of clubs in January. I think that might have got to his head, and we haven't seen him score as many goals. But 15 goals a season is still pretty decent, and you just know that Forest love gifting a striker that hasn't scored for ages a goal, don't you? Jordan Rhodes, Rudy Gusted. We'll put Matt Smith in that bracket as well, just. So, it's probably coming tomorrow, don't you? Also, Alex Mehmet, we've been linked with him. I think he'll be another one on the move, even though he signed a new contract extension with Barnsley. Well, I think they chose. I don't think he did, because he knows he's going to be on the move probably. But he had a contract extension that got triggered to play another year. But I don't think he will, the captain. But again, 3 goals, 8 assists this season, not bad. He's got a good shot on him as well, and you see why Forest are linked with him. I won't mind him at the City Ground next season. But yeah, they're the danger men, especially going back to Connor Chaplin. He's pacey. He looks like he's got a bit of arrogance about him, and he likes to wind people up. He can play on the wing. He can play as the main striker. I think Barnsley at the minute set up a 3-5-2 formation. Woodrow's been sometimes playing in behind or up top with Chaplin as the main man up front at the moment, which is surprising to say when you talk about Corley Woodrow this season. But Chaplin scored in their last win in a game against Blackburn. He got a goal. I think it was Jacob Brown, who's Barnsley's 3rd top goal scorer this season, something like that going forward. But yeah, it's going to be an interesting game. It always is with Forest. I think I always say this in the previews for the game, but I think it's because it's so weird the situation we're in. Like this season now, I should be talking about Forest signings ready to go, and the new season's like 2 weeks away, and we're playing pre-season friendlies against like this time last year against like Alfreton and Dundee and Mansfield, etc. But we're finishing the season, so it is a weird time with no fans in there as well. But off topic, of course, from the game, we'll go back on to it. But it looks like we could be returning from stadiums by October. The government has given it the green light, which will hopefully see us back at the City Ground sooner rather than later. But I'll get involved in that in the video when we get more information on that. But to top the video off, as always, we've got Ref Watch. But it's crazy actually for this game. I was looking for a bit of information on the ref, but for the first time, I think I've made this video. He's not refed a Barnsley or Forest game this season. So the referee is Scott Duncan, and he's only refereed 3 games in the Championship all season. So I've got my sources where I look at the website for the stats for all this, and I thought surely that's not right. But then I looked at Keith Stroud, comparing it to him, and Keith Stroud refereed 24 games this season. So I think Scott Duncan's been the most proactive in the Championship, so hopefully if he has been managing in League One, because I don't think he's a Premier League ref, if he has been managing in the lower leagues, he's not going to make decisions in such a crunch game as well, especially more for Barnsley kind of thing, because Forest kind of have 2 chances to help themselves in the playoffs to get into this playoff, but if Barnsley, lose tomorrow, that's good night for them. So, very surprised I couldn't find anything on Scott Duncan, so I'll have to probably just give you my review of him when I start the game tomorrow. When I watch the game tomorrow, sorry. But yeah, guys, that was my preview for the game against Barnsley. Forest need a point. I think that's all you can say at the moment. Saturday's results were good for us, especially, wasn't perfect, but they were good now, because obviously it's only one team that can catch us, and you feel it's a lot of permutations that need to happen for that, and you feel if we were to lose tomorrow, Sabry's no fool, he will set up a certain way against Stoke to make sure we don't lose that game and we get the playoff spot. So there's a bit of optimism, probably our best finish since 2011, our best team since probably that period as well. So it's very, very promising times. Just hopefully the players that are injured get the rest they need to be back ready for the playoffs. We will have our opponent confirmed by Wednesday. We'll know who we're playing. It'll be going to be tough. It's going to be interesting to see going forward as well. But yeah, guys, thanks for listening. Like I say, I know it's a late preview for the game, and I hope if you are listening to this before the Barnsley game, you do understand it, but you do get excited knowing that we are going to be playing playoff football, hopefully, and hopefully it will be confirmed by 5 o'clock tomorrow. I will be back with the match review for the game. I'll probably try and get that out Monday, or I've said this a few times now, so you'll probably think probably be Tuesday or Wednesday now for the game. No, Monday. It will be Tuesday at the latest, but definitely for try Monday evening. But yeah, guys, thanks for the support and thanks for listening. As always, give us a like, comment, and subscribe, and enjoy the game tomorrow. Hope you are all staying safe. Hopefully for 3 points, or I think even every Friday time we'll take a point now just to confirm it. So stay safe, guys. Enjoy the game tomorrow, wherever you're watching it. And as always, I'll speak to you soon. And come on, you Reds.